Okay guys, my name is Mr. Brown. I am here to go over these first 5 words: congruent, bisect, midpoint, angle, and angle bisector. So here we go. First of all, in order for two things to be congruent, they must have shape. So congruent must have shape. You are only talking about shapes. So triangles, squares, segments. Points don't have shapes. Lines, they can be, but lines continue on infinitely, so every line is going to be the same measurement as another line. So let's talk about segments. So segments, so if I say A to B, I don't know, I measure that, and that's about, 10 inches long, okay? If I have another segment, I don't care, C to D, if it is also 10 inches long, then that shape matches that shape, check. And that measure also matches that measure, therefore you can call them congruent. Congruent, C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-T, congruent. That means the same in shape and in measure. Now in math, or especially in geometry, if I need them congruent, but I don't care how long they are, I just need them the same length. And now length can change, I don't care, but what I do is I put what's called a tick mark, T-I-C mark. It's not a tic-tac, it's a tick mark. With that tick mark, what you have now said is, hey, if I extend that or I make that shorter, that means that I have to do that same exact thing. So if I want them exactly not the same length, so this could be 10, this could be 11, this could be 10.5, this could be 20,000, I don't care. If I need them differently, then I will put a 1 here and a 2 there. That automatically means that they are completely different. They cannot be the same. Now if I want to go backwards and say, oh yeah, I meant for them to be the same, I can put a 2 and a 2. So if I have any segments that have the same congruent tick marks on there, that means that they must be the same length, and that must mean that they also have the same shape. Now, so there is congruent. Now if I take a segment, let's say from, I don't know, D to E, and I say that I need to find exactly that midpoint between them. Okay? So if I go through that midpoint right there, that right there, is called a midpoint. So we will call that point F. That is a midpoint. Now if I take my ninja sword of death, and I take that through the midpoint, and I do like a fruit ninja move and go shing, and I wham, right there through the middle. Well, isn't DF the same as FE? So therefore they would be congruent because it got bisected. Bi means 2, so it's 2 sections. Okay, now I don't know how long this line is, and it doesn't really matter. This could be a 5 and this could be a 12. I don't care how long this is, but if this were an 8, how long is this? That's right, it's an 8, because this line went through the midpoint, therefore it bisected this segment. Alright, so now we have bisect. Next, if I have bisect, and if I say that segment GH got bisected, that means that that bisecting must go through the midpoint. Now don't get confused, bisect is the action. The midpoint is the result. It is that point. So can you really and truly, let's discuss this. If I have a line instead of a segment, can I bisect this line? Well, what does bisect mean? It means cut it into 2 equal portions, right? But equal portions, that's kind of irrelevant, because doesn't the line continue on forever? And doesn't this line continue on forever? So you can't actually make, you're not going to be bisecting lines. You're only going to be bisecting segments. Can't even bisect a ray. Especially can't bisect a ray, and it goes through the midpoint. Now, let's talk about what an angle is. A-N-G-L-E. An angle, whenever you take one ray, and it shares a common endpoint. So 2 rays with a common endpoint. Now that is what an angle is. Now let's discuss how we go. Alright, so I'm on J, so J, K, L. I can call this 4 different ways, and let's put a 1 right there. I can call it, how many K's are there and how many angles have a K? There's only 1, so I can call it angle K. So that's the first way. Number 2, I can call it angle JKL. So this little angle symbol represents the angle. Number 3, I can call it what else? That's right, LKJ. So angle L to K to J. And number 4, I could just call it angle 1, and that's good enough. Now I can get away with calling it angle K as long as there's only one angle K. Now I would really screw myself up if I put something like this. If I had put J, K, L, and now M, well, how many angle K's are there? You'd like to say 2, but there's actually 3. There's 1, there's 2, and there's the great big angle 3 right there. So if it has more than 2 rays, then it becomes more than 2 angles, and therefore you have to use more than one letter. You can always get away any 2 points. So L to K, J. If I had another point right here and call that N, I can call it NKL or JKL. I can skip points if I want to. Now, for the final one, an angle bisector. If I have an angle bisector, that means what does it do? It's the action of bisecting an angle. It's an action according to what it does. So if I have this great big old angle right here, and let's say that I'm on P, an angle Q, an angle R, and I say that ray QT bisects angle RQP. Well, what is it going to do? It's going to cut it into 2 equal parts. Well, it looks like, you know, between there and there, right there, that would bisect it, right? So it starts, if you remember, this is a Q, so it goes from Q to T, and from Q to T, so that means it got bisected. So that would be ray QT bisecting angle RQP. And that is those 5 words. Thank you.